All right, so guys, this is just a little question and answer. We have 5 judges this weekend, which is really cool. We got really, really good judges with only one exception, and that would be me. So I guess you guys want to introduce yourselves, but we have, so we have Janice Riley from North Carolina. We have Kathy Gadd from Canada. Okay, I'm John Brock from Atlanta, Georgia.
John Ellery from Atlanta, Georgia area.
And then we have Alan Reisdorf, who's not here yet. He's from Athens, Georgia. So that's 5, right? 5 judges. So the idea here is if you guys are always welcome to ask questions in your briefing, but it's important to realize briefings are meant to be brief. So if there's something that you want to talk about, any questions you might have for the judges, that's why we wanted to do this, was to give you an opportunity to ask maybe what are we looking for in a specific exercise, or, how are we going to handle something, and give us a hypothetical or whatever. So that's kind of what it's about. You want to say something, Kathy?
No, I think this is a really nice idea. I've never done this before, and it's great. So lots of questions, please.
Yeah.
You want to say?
Yeah.
You want to say anything?
I think it's a great idea too.
Or is it only 4 years?
It's just going there, yeah. Can y'all hear us? Yeah. So actually the judges had a really good discussion a little while ago about Courier, buoy ball drop, and things like that. So I know some of y'all are probably running Courier, might have some questions about how we look at the buoy ball drop, or you might be running Apprentice and you might want to know something about the 3-foot line or whatever. So if anybody has any questions, please fire away. That's why we're here. Okay, let's get this one.
For the courier ball drop, after the steward boat moves out of the way, can the steward leave the boat, or do they have to stay within the area? Can you walk out?
We'll
And
let
this
Kathy
is for courier water
Yes.
dogs? Yeah. No, your steward can leave they can just get up the
Get up
boat and
and go.
walk up the beach, or they
Okay.
can sit on the platform.
Okay.
I like the platform facing the shore, not facing out, but
Okay.
they can leave for sure.
Perfect. I need to get him out.
We had a question. Marion had a question back here.
I'm on camera.
You're not on camera. Yeah.
You're behind me.
Yeah. You're,
How do you get your dog not to abandon ship without getting a brown manicure and liver under your nails?
That's a hard one. I'm going to pass it to Janice.
that's not really a judging question. That's more of a training question.
Wear gloves.
The good thing about that is you can practice your stays anywhere.
Okay.
So the way when they're little, when they first start working with their stays, not the very first thing I do, but eventually I progress up to where I'll put their food down, but I'll have them in a sit stay. And I'm in between them and their food. So if they break their stay to get the food, I pull it back up. But you've got to work up to that, but that's kind of proofing it. So I think, to me, the answer would be just really work and get a bulletproof stay.
Thank you.
All right, I'm Kevin Smith. My question is for the apprentice swim. How far out can we go?
You go, hello, 15 feet past, how far out past the markers, you mean?
Yeah, out that way.
Yeah, you go 15 feet past the markers.
15 feet. 15 feet past. Okay.
And 15 feet on each end, too. So you go, basically the
Okay.
flight ends 15 feet on each side of the marker and past the markers.
Okay.
Yep.
So Kevin, basically the site is 75 feet square, okay? The markers are 50 feet. Actually out here they're probably about 52 feet, but the site itself is 70. So you got 15 feet on either side of the markers plus 15 feet past the markers, okay?
I'm John Sloan. On the apprentice walk to the boat, is it okay if I actually don't face the boat initially and then curve back in? He gets kind of excited and wants to head towards it, so I like to heel a little bit and then turn around. Is that okay, or is that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, your dog has to be in a stay beside you. The dog has to be beside you. I mean, usually you're. Show me. Why didn't you just show us?
Oh well, yeah. Like let's say
So
John
that's
Brock
the
is.
boat. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, if John Brock is the boat. Instead of typically you'd face with the
Yeah.
dog sitting
Yeah.
and then you'd give him the dummy and walk to the boat.
Yeah.
Typically, I like to just face away so he doesn't see the boat as a target, get him in the heel, and then turn around.
There's nothing wrong with
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Thank you.
I don't think we would. Sure. Go do it.
Sorry, I took your answer.
But having said that, there's a common rule in this game, which is don't make the judge think. But that's a good question. Yeah.
I think that's smart of you to figure out what's going to make your dog succeed. My first Portuguese water dog did water because she wanted to make me happy. My second one lived to do water work. And so for our bag drag, I had to have her in a sit-stay watching me so that she wouldn't see the bag come out, because then she would be like, wah, out there to get her bag. But that's good that you figured out what your dog needs. And that's a lot about working with your dog, is knowing what they need and trying to make it work.
Yeah, we're still working down the exuberance. And I can trot with them at a speed where we're okay, getting to the boat. But
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I'm trying to get him in a more controlled hill just for general
Yeah,
obedience.
but just remember that you can walk quickly. You don't have to have like a nice obedience healing. If your dog's moving fast, then you can move fast.
You should.
You should.
Really happens.
Yeah,
Honestly,
but
even
some
when we
people
start-
like
even when
some
we
people
start
just
to
call
turn,
their
he's
dog
gonna
back.
speed up.
Yeah, but you can just go with them. If they take off, you take off too. But don't fall over.
The age-old question, where you go out to with the net for masters, can you leave it on the deck or do you have to put it below?
Okay.
When
They're rowing out, as they're rowing out, right?
My understanding is if you sit down, you want me? My understanding is you put the basket on there as you're rowing out, but you set it on there as you're rowing out and leave it there, because you don't need to touch it again until the dog starts its exercise. But if you put it in the well of the boat and then bring it up, it's kind of drawing attention to the net. So it's better, that's my understanding, just to leave it on the boat as
But
you row out.
it's not a blind retrieve though, so I wouldn't have a problem with it being on the deck beside you.
That's what I mean.
But then
It's on the
you're not
deck.
really fiddling with it. It's ready pretty much, right? And then you
Right.
But there's no rule that says
I don't-
one way or the other.
we'll look it up, but I don't think no.
No,
There isn't.
I don't think there is.
No,
but
there isn't.
I think some judges want it down.
I know. Well,
Do they?
I don't think we fall.
See, to
mind.
me, that then you're drawing attention and fiddling around when you've already just, if you set it there, it's there.
Yeah, I mean the dog's doing something else anyway, so yeah, whatever. But Cal, good question.
I have another question. Again, for the ball drop, when you're getting ready to send your dog in the water and you're having them jump, can I grab the ball and hang it over the water so the dog can see the ball, or do I have to keep the ball with me and have her jump first?
Oh, you have it over
I can have it over the water.
I do that all
Okay, so I have a question for you. Speaking of that, your dog's on the platform with you, getting ready to do the courier go out, the ball drop. Can you throw the ball in the water and have the dog go get it?
No, because I thought if they touched the water, then it was.
The dog has to be in the water first, right?
First.
Before you hand the dog the ball. Like
Okay.
you can, what you're asking is, can I hang it over here and have the dog sort of jump for it, right?
Yes.
As long as the ball's not in the water,
Right.
okay? The dog, before the dog gets the ball, the dog has to be in the water
Got it.
first, okay? Make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
And then, yes, and then you can, at that point, you can put the ball in the water at that point, actually.
And they can
Right.
grab it out of the water, or do they have to take it from my hand?
They can grab it out of the water, but they have to be in the water first.
They have to be in the water, but then you can
Right.
throw it into the water.
Okay.
Or
Or drop
Yeah.
it.
I've never
But in
practiced that way.
masters, you have to hand it to them.
It's different in masters, yes.
It's got to be within 10 feet of the boat
Just
if you do
making
throw it.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. On Apprentice, let's say you're doing the dummy retrieve in Apprentice, and you throw the dummy out. Let's just say the 3-foot line's right here. You throw the dummy out, and the dog crosses the 3-foot line, and then comes back. Is that okay or no? Okay. What did the dog do wrong? Right.
Across the 3-foot line, he has to go in the water, get the dummy, and then come back across the 3-foot line with the dummy. Once he's across, he can't come back without the dummy.
Right.
Once he's across the 3-foot line, he's in the water.
Yes.
Even if he's on sand.
Correct.
All 4 feet.
Right. Right. So what if the dog is coming to shore with the dummy and is right at the 3-foot line, still in the water? Okay, I'm the dog, I'm coming ashore, I'm still in the water, and I drop the dummy right here, and then I cross the 3-foot line. What did I do?
Failed.
Okay, why did I fail?
Because you didn't cross the 3-foot line with a dummy in your mouth.
Okay, all right.
You didn't block the dog from coming.
Okay,
across.
okay.
You get out there and you block them until they pick it up and come across.
Man, we have some violent people here. Oh my God. So as the handler, are you allowed to move?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
I just did it a couple weeks ago.
Okay, are you allowed to block me from crossing the 3-foot
Yes, I
line?
am.
Okay.
As long as I'm not on the other side of the 3-foot
Okay,
line.
but then what happens if I do this? Can you still move now?
No,
Okay, why not?
because you're across if all 4 feet.
Yeah.
I can't move.
Okay,
I
you
love
can
your orange
you can
toenails.
you can take one step, right? One or two steps, I think it
That's
says. Okay. All right.
So on the same topic, what if you're at the 3-foot line? I'm coming out of the water. I do a mighty big shake. Maybe I've got 1 foot over. My bumper drops on the ground. I come out, and then I pick it up. What happens?
Well, I don't think that's. I think that's a fail as well, because you have to have the bumper with all 4 feet at the same time across the 3-foot line.
I know.
That's the heartbreaker. We call that the heartbreaker.
Well, the heartbreaker is when you actually have to swim with the dog on the 2-minute swim. That's a heartbreaker, and not be able to walk.
Right. I got you. Okay. So on working, anybody here doing working? Okay, so you're doing the 3-article overboard. You drop your 3 articles in. This actually happened to me a couple of weeks ago. You drop the 3 articles in, and the dog jumps in the water, and let's say the dog grabs the line and the dummy at the same time and brings them to you at the same time. Can you accept both articles?
No.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
Ask for a redrop.
Ask to replace one of them.
You can take one, right? But you got to toss the other one back out, right? And it's really smart if you tell the judge what you're doing.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Would you explain clarification when the line is tangled on a dog and the line is coming back with the bumper or with the ball, and they're basically got both?
So you just say, my dog is tangled, and the judge will say, okay. And if you have to hold on to the harness while you untangle the line, first you want to take, because it should have it in the mouth, first get them to give it to you, but then you can hold the dog to untangle the line. You want to say anything?
No, that's good.
So the one thing I'll say about that is usually the judge can see that the dog's tangled. It's not that hard to see that your dog's tangled. A lot of times the dog on that 3-article overboard exercise, sometimes the dogs will jump right on top of the line, for example, right? And when that happens, they're definitely going to get tangled. But we can usually see that, when that happens. Yeah.
Just the safety of your dog is the most important thing. So you do whatever you have to do. If they're really cool, if they're really tied up or whatever, you just take the dog out of the water, untangle them, and then we do it again. So don't sweat it.
Just for the fun of it, can you explain when you're delivering the articles to hand, is it on the water, on the step?
Wait, what?
Like if you're delivering your article and you're picking it up, can you pick it up? You have to pick it up when they're still swimming, or can they step on the step and pick it up there?
They can step on the step, but they can't put a paw on the platform. As long as they take delivery before they put a paw on the platform, you're good.
So,
Can I have
yeah. Yeah.
if you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
I do want to remind you, because I see people do this, and it does call for a clean delivery to hand. So many people aren't thinking, and they're pulling their dog up as they're taking the article, and you can't touch your dog until that article's clear.
Exactly
A clean.
what I was gonna say.
Oh,
Exactly.
well, look at that.
Yeah, and that happens.
And that it's you don't think about it, but you really need to make sure you pull that, and then help your dog up.
Does that make sense?
Don't make the judge think.
So don't pull the. I've seen some really good handlers do it where they grab the dummy, for example, and the back of the dog's head, and they pull them up together. You can't do that. All right, you got to get the dummy, and then pull the dog up. Right.
And while we're talking about working, I've seen this happen maybe 4 times this summer. When you're throwing the diamond pattern dummy, is it your choice on whether to throw it out to sea or to land? It is not. Is it the judge's choice? It is not. It's always out to sea. It's never towards shore. It's always out to sea. So I've seen people do that, and it's a handler error.
So if you're a steward on a master's boat, let's go over the delivery of the line. How do you want it? Draped over the boat, laying in the water, the float line. I mean the net.
The net.
Yeah, the net. Yeah.
Then in master or in courier?
Master.
Master, it has to stay in the basket.
But when the dog's halfway, where's the line supposed to be?
Oh, you can put, if the dog is more than halfway to you, once that happens, then you can call the dog, you can put the line in the water. In masters.
Somebody told me that you have to hand the dog the line if you're the steward. We had a horrible disagreement with that.
Let's look at the rule.
We'll look at the rule, but I think you have.
I think you
have to hand it
pick
to.
up
Yeah.
when the dog is. I think you pick it up when the dog is halfway to you,
Right.
and then the dog comes, and then you just hand it to them.
Can you let it float in the water? Some people like to have their dogs pick it up floating in the water.
I think you have to hand it.
Okay, from the water trial manual, when the dog reaches the steward's boat, the steward directs the dog to take the floating line end of the fishing net in its mouth. When the dog has turned and is facing the direction of the handler will toss the dummy.
So it actually doesn't.
So it doesn't say.
Say, does
It said floating though, didn't it?
It did say floating, but I've never seen that as an issue. Well, like, to me, I've always felt like as long as the dog is more than halfway closest to the steward boat,
you can lay it in the
then
water.
you can lay it in the water. What I tell my people to do, whoever's stewarding for me, is to have a little bit in the water, but have some also in your hand. And if the dog prefers to take it from your hand, that's fine.
Right.
It doesn't say that that's a fail.
It doesn't say you can put it in the water.
Louise, in another section of the notes, it says once the dog is halfway, the steward may position the line for the dog to take it. So it doesn't say it has to be in the water. It doesn't say it can't be. It's your decision on how you're going to do it. Not in masters, in courier only. Huh? Yeah, because in masters, what they're supposed to know is that they're going to the boat to get the net without it being lured by being in the water. Oh, that's
feet.
another, yeah.
Yeah, you can have it.
Every lap is
I
that
know.
touching it.
It gets a bit complicated, doesn't it? So in courier, you can have 3 feet of the line dangling in the water, and then you can pick it up when the dog is halfway over.
Can it go over their laps?
You can hold it. I don't mind. What I don't want to see is it's not a blind retrieve, but your steward should be ready with the net pretty much, by the time the dog's ready to come to you. So you can be over your lap, but don't be holding it, touching it, don't move it. And then once the dog is halfway over, you can put it in the water or whatever you want.
But you still can't splash it.
Yeah.
Is that just for courier or is that for masters too?
That is
Just
for
courier.
courier.
So a master has to be totally inside the.
Totally inside.
The dog's halfway.
So my understanding of masters, the way I like to see it, is the substitute steward gets on the boat with the stuff. They set the net beside them, whichever side they want it on, and they put the other, anything they're not using in the boat. Hands off at that point. Go out, tie up, and then go out, tie up, and then you don't touch it again until the dog is more than halfway.
I put it on the platform, and when I row out, I tie off on that same side.
Yeah.
I can't lean over the so I want to move it back, hook up, and move it back again. Is that allowed?
Yeah, so, You're right. Technically,
Right.
yeah, you
Right.
can do it.
You can do that.
But don't, it's not to be made a show of.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold them over your head in the working. Like when you get the dummy, get the ball, whatever. Do you need to do that or just...
So that used to be in the rules. It no longer is.
Okay.
Okay, years ago that was one of the rules. When it was in the rules, right? So years ago it was in the rules that you took the delivery and you held the article up, right? And then
So the judge could definitely
but we
see
can
it.
we can see it.
You can see
Yeah.
it.
Don't
Yeah.
count on it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Raise it up and don't make
Yeah.
the judge think.
We can see it.
Okay.
If you want to.
If you want to raise it up, that's fine, but we can see it.
Don't make the judge think.
Yeah. Anybody else?
And remember, if your dog drops the item in the water, don't reach down and pick it up. Tell them to take it and then take it from them.
Okay, so I have a question for you courier people that does not involve the ball drop, okay? So let's say this is the 3-foot line, okay? And I'm the dog and I'm coming to get the the floating line. This is the floating line retrieve, right? The second exercise. So I come off the boat, I'm swimming, I come up here, the line's right here, okay? I don't touch the line, but I go back like this, okay? The line's still there. And now I come back, you yell at me, I come back and I grab the line and I bring it back to you. Am I okay or did I fail? Am I okay? Yeah, for courier, am I okay or did I fail? You don't look too positive, guys. What do you think, Lizette? You're courier.
I'm not courier.
You were courier.
I don't remember.
That was so last month.
So what do you think, Kathy? Are they okay?
Yes.
Yes. You are okay. Okay, but what happens if now I'm the dog and I grab the line and I do this and I come like this with the line and I drop it and then I go back here without the line and then I come back and I get the line and I go to the boat?
That's a big no.
What was the difference? What was the difference between those two examples?
The line.
The line, right, yes, right. Once I carry the floating line over the 3-foot line, I can't go back.
So being that you made it so obvious that was for courier, so I take it master is different.
No?
No?
I don't think so.
They can still,
Okay.
as long as they don't go back in the water. If they pick it up and go into the water, then they can't come back out again. Same thing. Who's doing masters here? Anyone doing masters? Okay, so I have a question for you. On your fishing net retrieve, and then you're going to throw your distraction bumper. How far away from the fishing net? You have to throw it pretty much in the middle, right? You throw it 25 feet. Which way? Yeah, but you throw it 25 feet.
Diagonal.
45 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Because some people I've seen throwing it really near the net, which I don't know if that's a time thing. They want to save time or whatever, but it's meant to be 25 feet. It's much harder for the dogs.
Yeah, I have a philosophy on that.
Yeah.
I think they're doing it because they're looking at the dog.
Yeah.
It's really hard to look at your dog and throw, so they end up throwing it kind of almost straight at their dog.
Okay. Well, don't do that in my ring.
Right.
Don't do it in my ring, all right? Because I want to see it 25 feet.
It needs to be a clean. But part of it is you don't want the dog getting tangled back in the net
Exactly.
when they go back for it.
Yeah.
So you need to have that clean. I'm with Kathy on that. It needs. You've practiced it. You've practiced it in working and courier. You can do it in masters. It's that same throw.
So basically, the half of the diamond.
Half of the diamond. Yeah. First or third base.
Good job. Everybody knows the rules really well.
Oh,
don't they?
they're so smart.
So at the Tennessee trial, we were stopping after two. If you don't pass two.
Two exercises.
Thank you. That word. We were stopping. Is that going to be the case here?
Is the trial full? That's in the rules. Probably.
Are you saying you're over time on two exercises?
Yeah.
If you're over time on two exercises, yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
That's actually.
It's in the rule.
in any trial.
That's
Yeah.
actually.
Well, I think the most important thing is that you guys have a great time with your dogs. And that's what we're all here for. Whether you pass or whether you don't pass, just have a good time.
This is a very junior question for a dog that kind of gets the zoomies when he completes certain tasks. So I know I can't give him treats or anything like that, but one thing that's worked for me is to put his treats somewhere to put his treats maybe not too far from the area, and then that way when we finish the final swim, I'll say, hey, let's go get the treat, and he'll walk over the line with me and let me grab him without getting the zoomies.
As long as it's outside, it's got to be outside the ring.
Okay, yeah, it totally will be outside of the ring, but it doesn't matter like if I put it down on the ground or something like that.
Got to be outside
okay.
the ring. I wouldn't do that though. I wouldn't do that.
Because if he's prone to zoomies,
Yeah.
and he knows those treats are sitting on
That's
the
where
ground,
he's going to
buddy,
zoom to.
he's gonna go
But that's
treat
the
himself.
okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
he knows there are treats outside the ring, and you've had problems with him leaving the ring,
He leaves them when he has nothing.
Huh?
Like when I started doing it, like at practice, he won't leave. He'll wait for me. I don't. It's counterintuitive, but yeah.
but I wouldn't put him on the ground. I'd put him somewhere where he wouldn't be able
To reach him. Okay.
Give
Thank
them to
you.
a friend or something. Have them hold them
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. I would think that having treats out here are probably going to be more enticing for him to zoom more because whether you know it or not, he can smell them. Like these dogs have an incredible sense of smell, and if he knows they're here, he's gonna go find them. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else? We answered all the questions. Y'all answered all ours. Everybody ready for tomorrow? And do you have a question?
No, I said maybe tomorrow.
Thanks for coming. I
Thanks.
can't wait for the trial to start.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, guys.